Well, YouTube world and YouTube tribe. We got a Raw after that. Oh, so stunning. Oh, so stunning. Oh, so fun. AEW pay-per-view. But this is not about AEW. This is about WWE. And therefore, the WWE Raw review. So, let's dive into it. There was a tag. I guess it's going to be a tag team turmoil, and the tag team turmoil. I guess the Raw started with a tag team turmoil promo, in which all the tag teams involved basically cut a promo, and I think, like I said, I think the tag teams were the New Day, Jinder Mahal and Veer, the Viking Raiders, AJ Styles and Omos, and then Mace TBar. Did I already say Mansoor and Mustafa Ali too? If I didn't, they was also involved. And y'all cut promos about why they gonna win the tag team turmoil, which leads to another promo, which is the actual starting promo of this of the episode, which is RK Bro. Randy starts off by talking about how Bobby Lashley is a greedy. How Bobby Lashley and MVP failed to take the tag team titles from them because because Bobby Lashley was a greedy SOB, and how and that that makes them the best, most destructive tag team in all the sports entertainment, and that this turns them to the tag team turmoil match, which they're gonna be at ringside for, and that they want to see who's gonna be their next number one contender. But Randy Orton's words bring out Bobby Lashley and MVP, who comes out and calls Randy Orton a coward for owing him out of nowhere last week. And that he wants a one-on-one match with Randy Orton. And Randy Orton said, "You know what? Fine. Since we could have that match, but on one condition, and that condition was based on the fact that since Bobby Lashley been talking about being a double champion, got Randy Orton wanted to be a double champion. So he said we could have that one-on-one as long as it's for the WWE Championship. So." He ended up, Bobby Lashley agrees, but they agreed to do it at Extreme Rules. But that's at Extreme Rules. Bobby Lashley, as he was getting ready to leave the ring, after getting what he wanted, he stops and thinks, and then he turns back and says, "You know what? I am a greedy SOB. And because of that, I'm going to go talk to Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce about getting put into the tag team turmoil, me and MVP, because I want to be able to take those tag team titles off of you and become a double champion." This will bring out New Day, who will have jaw jacket words with Bobby Lashley. They came out in NWO Wolfpack inspired clothes with Kofi looking like Kevin Nash and Xavier looking like Scott Hall, the bad guy. This would be the first. This would actually start the tag team turmoil match, which is the first match of the night, which would be New Day and the Viking Riders starting off. Raiders, the Viking Raiders and New Day had a great opening bout. They went back and forth really hard hitting, but the New Day would end up getting. I want to say it was either. They either did a signature moves or they got a roll up pin, but either way they pinned the Viking Riders to eliminate them, and then Raiders, and then it would be Jinder Mahal and Veer next. But the problem with this was that it took place most of it took place during the commercial breaks. So I don't know much what really happened. I just know when it came back, it was already like they been back and forth with each other. And it was only a couple of moves, and then boom, they was done. They had the Jinder Mahal and Veer got pinned, and then Lucha House Party was next. Their match was just that little part wasn't that much more than the Jinder Mahal and Veer match. I mean, they pretty much went at it, hit a couple of moves, and then they end up getting pinned. But I think to the Lucha House Party credit, they did bring the fight to New Day. They just it just wasn't a long, quick one. I mean, wasn't a long one. It was more of a quick one. Um, anyway, and then they would get eliminated. So now it's the New Day versus Mace and TBar. This was the worst part of it because Mace and TBar really didn't do anything. I felt like New Day was carrying them, but Mace and TBar really didn't really do anything. Like the Lucha House Party and Jinder Mahal matches, they did something to add to it. They really didn't do nothing to add to it. Try to be like big, tall brutes, and it didn't work. But the best part is when they got eliminated because it was just boring. And this match had so much momentum going for it that I didn't want it to get boring. So I'm glad that they got eliminated. But then came what they did was probably the best thing they could have did was being destructive monster heels, and they basically beat the hell out of everybody out of anger for being eliminated. They beat the hell out of New Day. They beat the hell out of the next competitors was Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. They beat the hell out of all of them to the point where they had to be separated, and then. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville basically declared that this match would continue later on tonight because they didn't want them to have this type of ending to it. To allow everybody who got beat up to recuperate to put on the actual match. Now, for me, that hurt this momentum, and I'm gonna get to that later. I don't know why we had this next match because both of these competitors have been beaten, but the next match will be Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. The winner faces Damian Priest at Extreme Rules for the United States Championship. And the thing is, why are we having them two fight for the number one contendership? Drew McIntyre and last time I checked, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus have already beaten each other. They have already lost to Damian Priest. There's no need for Damian Priest to be fighting any of these two, but Sheamus running with a roll-up pin using the tights, and now he is your number one contender to the United States Championship for some always. So we had to suffer through a match we already seen before to get a match we already seen before. Anywho, we would get the match between Nikki and Rhea. I mean, a tag team match with Nikki and Rhea versus Natalia and Tamina. Winner. I mean, I thought I was about to say winner. It looked like they was positioning as they won the match. They would be the number one contenders, but I'm pretty sure the number one contenders is Sanchi Blackheart and Tegan Knox because they beat them like at least 3 times now. But who knows? I don't know what that is doing, but apparently they're trying to make it seem like if Nikki and Rhea wins, then they the ones who are going to get the next match. I don't know. But that's what ended up happening. Rhea and Nikki end up winning the match. I think Tamina didn't realize that Nikki tagged out to Rhea. And so she tried to put Nikki in the sharpshooter. But not realizing that Nikki wasn't the legal competitor, Rhea got in the ring and put her in the riptide, and they ended up winning the match. We will get the Moist TV promo next with Karrion Kross being interviewed, and this was a great promo. I mean, it was funny just how it came on once it saw Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross just looking at John Morrison like he wanted to murder him, like he was a piece of meat to be murdered. And basically, that's how when he was fighting asked questions, that's how he talked. He was saying like, even when he was presented with the ideas of going after the WWE Championship or the United States Championship, he said those sound like all good things. But first, I must eviscerate you. He said I must show you your worst nightmares and eliminate you, and then I would think about what's next. Because he said for right now, what he wants is to eliminate John Morrison. And this would be the next match. The next match would be John Morrison versus Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross dominated the match as usual. John Morrison got some licks in. He did. He got some licks in, but he ended up getting dominated. Put in the Doomsday Sahido. And then hit with the Doomsday Sahido in the cross jacket. And Karrion Kross is your winner. To me, which is the main event, which is Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. This match started out good, as it basically was they once again went for like this. I want to say like this work shoot like angle. It was like they basically was fighting each other, but then it was like they really wasn't. I don't know, but like they were trying to capitalize off of the little work shoot angle they had last week, where it looked like they got into a legit fight, and they did it again here. But it had so much edginess to it, it had so much flair to it, that it actually got me involved into the match. Even though I've seen it before, it actually made the match good because it was edgy. It was not too edgy to go over the little PG-13 or the PG stuff, but it was edgy, and that's what you need if you want to compete with AEW. Just let your matches have some edginess to it, and then actually have a competitive finish without interference, without that. At least if it is going to be like a heelish way of winning, let it happen within the match. Don't start having outside interference be the way how it goes. But yeah, so you got Charlotte Flair versus Nia. They start brawling with each other, and like I think Shayna Baszler did interrupt, to get payback like how Nia did last week. And she did the same thing, saying, I don't know if she's going to beat you, Charlotte, but that is the question. Is Nia going to be able to beat you to become champion? Because I know I can. But is Nia going to be able to beat you to become champion, or she's going to choke? And then once she said that, you got Nia like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then she would get hit from behind by Charlotte, which starts to brawl. And they are just going at it. The referee is trying to get in between them. He's trying to break it up, but there's no breaking it up. Nia was pulling Charlotte's hair, and then once they get up against the ropes, like they look like Charlotte, Nia put Charlotte up against the ropes with the referee, and it looked like instead of going like this, where hitting her with the forearm or the palm, it looked like she was straight jabbing Charlotte in the mouth, and I was like, oh Lord. And I'm like, well, at least we could tell she was for the most part, because Charlotte's face was red as hell. Not bloody red, but it was red. She wasn't bloodied up or bleeding, but her face was still red. And she's like, yeah, you think you tough and bad and stuff? You think pulling my hair makes you tough? Well, she said, come do it. She said, come, hit me in the face, or come pull my hair now. And I think they got to so close they would jaw jacket that she went to try to smack her, but Charlotte was like, "Oh, haha!" Got out of the ring and says, "Suck it, Natty." I said Natty, Nia. She said, "Suck it, Nia," and then she just kept going like this. I'm like, what is Charlotte doing? Like she was like, "Yeah, like suck it." I'm like, what? Okay, like she doing, and then she told Nia to kiss her butt. And that she grabbed the title like she was just out of there. She wasn't having it. But Sonya was like, no, you're going to get back in that ring. You're going to get back in the ring. And she was like, get out. And she kept saying, get out of my face. Get out of my face. And then Nia would pull her back into the ring. They would have that match, which was fairly. It was good it was a good, decent match. It was a lot of edginess to it, a lot of story around it. It made the match good until. This match was actually great until they went for the finish. The finish came where Shayna got up on the apron again and distracted Nia, and Nia would get hit with hit with Charlotte Flair's finisher. I forgot what it's called, but she would get hit with Charlotte Flair's finisher and pin 1, 2, 3. But then out comes Alexa Bliss. Basically was on the Titantron at first, saying she wanted Charlotte Flair to come back to the back to the playground, but Charlotte Flair was saying, you know what, no, I don't do cute, I don't do funny. If you want to talk to me, you want to see me in person, then you come your ass out to this ring. So Alexa Bliss obliges. Lights go out, comes back on. Alexa Bliss is in the ring, and she basically tells Charlotte basically asks her, what do you want? What is this all about? And she points to the Raw Women's Championship. And she said, that's what you want? You want a Raw Women's Championship match? Well, you got it. And but she said, "This is not your playground. This is mine." So, and then we would get Reggie versus Akira Tozawa for the 24/7 championship. That match went kind of quick. They did like a little recap of what's been going on, but this was kind of quick. I'm enjoying the fact that up until it happened, that we were seeing like people basically just run, instead of running around, we actually just get a match for it. Because the concept, thanks to R-Truth and winning it so many times, the concept of it just being anywhere, anytime, any place, that's basically got old. But seeing it as a traditional match that you had to face to win was actually kind of a good thing. It's a good way to go about it. But it was just a little bit too quick, and Reggie ended up still being your champion. But then out comes everybody challenging for the championship. But to the surprise, they added a little surprise to it. My boy Drake Maverick is apparently there, and he's on the main roster. Yeah, then I guess it would be the main event was the continuation of the first match. So therefore, I'm going back to the first page because everything's still written down on the first page. Because I don't consider the first match the main event when it already started at the beginning of the show. But yeah, so it was they restarted the match. Without Mace TBar, obviously Mansoor. It was New Day versus Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. They fought obviously being injured, so when they took like body drops and slams and kicks to their back, they was hurt, especially Xavier Woods. But they would end up coming through, getting the win over Mustafa Ali and Mansoor by getting hit with the trouble in Paradise, and then the elbow drop to Mustafa Ali's chest. Then the New Day had to go up against AJ Styles and Omos. AJ Styles and Omos came and did their thing. AJ Styles, they did a good job of cutting the ring off from Kofi Kingston and beating up on Xavier Woods. But it was only a matter of time until Omos got in the ring, obliterated them, and AJ and them would get the win. I think Kofi Kingston tried to jump onto Omos, but Omos would carry him over to AJ Styles and put him on AJ Styles' shoulder so AJ Styles could hit him with the Style Clash. And New Day would finally get eliminated after being impressive in the match so far. And then we would get AJ Styles and Omos versus the last team, which we found out earlier, which was Bobby Lashley and MVP. And for the record, I don't know if I said this, they was teasing the new NXT throughout the whole night. I guess it looked like instead of just the logo this time, now they sold the new logo and what looks to be a new arena and a new arena set. So it looked like NXT is going to be taking a new way of approach next. It says the date was next Tuesday, or it says the 14th. So we would get a good bout between the two. It was mostly Bobby Lashley versus MVP. Not MVP. AJ Styles, and then Omos began until we had a good power struggle. Nice little storytelling between two powerhouses. We even get for a bit Omos getting overwhelmed by AJ Styles. Bobby Lashley, but Omos would then pick up the momentum, and he would destroy Bobby Lashley a little bit. But Bobby Lashley ended up coming through. I think they end up cutting it off. I think the distractions from Randy Orton. The distractions from Randy Orton and being in a brawl with Randy Orton caused Omos to lose focus, which allowed Bobby Lashley to spear and pin AJ Styles for the win, which made Bobby Lashley and MVP the number one contenders to Randy Orton in those title. Omos and then would get back in the ring and basically grab Bobby Lashley and do a double-handed choke slam on him. I'm trying to see. Omos was there. Would start heading towards the back as Bobby Lashley would get up, trying to look all mad and intimidating at Omos and AJ Styles, he would turn around and get RKO'd out of nowhere by Randy Orton, you know, signifying a feud and signifying their whole match next week. In all, this show was a very decent show. I won't say it was bad. It wasn't a bad show. It was just, besides the promos and the Drew McIntyre and Sheamus match, and I say everything but the Drew McIntyre and Sheamus match, the Nikki and Rhea tag team match, and the 24/7 championship match. Everything was good besides those three, which caused me to believe that this show was basically a 7.5 big ups. It was a good episode. It just had some miscues. The tag team turmoil match would have been the match of the night. Would have been a great match if they didn't have to like break it up and continue it later on in the night. It would have been like the match of the night, but it wasn't. You know, it still was a good match. It still was a good match to watch. It just could have been a great match had it just continued on through even after the beatdown. I think if anything, the best match was the Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax match, and that's saying a lot because Charlotte Flair is always in our face right now. But you know, which is why I give that to Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax, because it had the most compelling story around it to make the match actually excitable and enjoyable. But that's how I think. Let me know in the comments what you thought on Monday Night Raw, and if you enjoyed this Monday Night Raw review, then hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this review so much you want to support the channel, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop videos. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I got that season finale review for Legends of Tomorrow coming up next.